Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple of days. Well, I'm trying to be consistent. I also have jobs and children, so I'll do my best. I'm hoping everybody's new year, as we're in day 16, which how do we go from the 1st to the 16th in like, I don't know, a second? I don't get it. 2025 did not did not come in and sit down and touch nothing. It's been touching everything. So, I mean, what do we got going on? We've got the California wildfires. I'm from California, as I've mentioned before. I'm from Northern California, so we have definitely been affected by wildfires, but not to the extent of what's going on right now. It's insane. So all my family, friends, people I don't know who are affected by the wildfires, my prayers are with you. I can't even imagine. Well, that's going on that coast. On this coast, we're dealing with snow, frigid temperatures, and just a whole lot of unsavory Mother Nature concoctions. Being a West Coast girl on the East Coast, I'm not mad at the snow. It's just hard to maneuver, and I don't dress appropriately still. I'm like very much still underdressing, even though I've lived in the East Coast for a long time. So one day I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know. But today, I have been getting my therapy on. There's a lot personally going on with me, which takes a lot, honestly, of my emotional energy to deal with some of the things I have going on. And I hope to kind of run down eventually on this channel of leaving toxic environments and rebuilding yourself in the process, maintaining, your peace, growing, level-headed, fair, amazing children in the process of all of that. And in therapy, specifically today, my therapist said, I want you to stop. Let's have a conversation, as I kind of ran down some of the foolishness I've had to deal with the last couple of weeks. What do you need today? I want you to take a couple of moments to write that down, right? And so some of my needs that I wrote down were not great. I can't tell you if I have actually figured out what I need. And though I've been in therapy before, this is a new therapist for me. For me, therapy is like having a talk with a friend for an hour every 2 weeks or once a month, and just kind of unloading the things that I don't necessarily want to unload on friends all the time, because I know everybody's got something going on. So it's a good release for me. And I've gained a lot of insight and self-awareness through the therapeutic process. The thing that has really stumped me over the years as being someone who's in and out of therapy is my needs, especially when you're in a space where we're in this kind of strange male-female dynamic, marriage, long-term relationship, child-rearing dynamic, where women are kind of like, I'm gonna opt out. I'm gonna opt out of dealing with men. I'm gonna decenter them, right? This has been kind of an ongoing discussion. It seems like the discussion's been happening for a couple of years. Just doing some kind of broad research earlier and kind of my own theory, a lot of it kind of stems from the Me Too movement. I think when Trump was elected the first time, and then we had this kind of influx of predators being outed, Epstein, Cosby, Spacey, all these people that were being outed for their nefarious behavior at work and in their private lives. Women are starting to just become kind of sick of it, right? They're starting to kind of feel as though the juice is not worth the squeeze when it comes to partnering with men. I mean, obviously this is not a catch-all. This is not a all men are this or all women are that. This is a overwhelming, if you want to do, I'm not doing statistics today, but if you want to go and do research, it's overwhelming that the amount of unaliving, the amount of assaults are going to come from one demographic for the most part, right? And I bring all this up to say that the correlation between women saying, I'm going to decenter men, I'm going to choose the bear, and all of these kind of conversations that we're having right now on social media, is women just seeing how overlooked their needs are, how trivialized their needs have been, how putting everyone in front of themselves was a norm and expected. And if you don't do that as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a partner, as a whatever, then there's backlash, right? There's a pushback, and there's a cultural pushback. It's not just subject to that sort of pushback within your relationships, but culturally, women are male-centered too. There's a lot of women who are male-centered, who are patriarchal thinkers, and women who have decided to opt out of either having children, getting married, or leaving unfulfilling, toxic environments, have received pushback from men and women, right? You're breaking up the family, you're putting your needs before your children or before your family. And my philosophy has always been that if people's within that dynamic needs are not being met, now we know we can't meet every need, but if everyone's needs are not being met, then no one's needs are being met. Especially mom, right? Especially parental needs. Like, we have to focus on our children and what's going to make them the best adults. That's why we're raising them to be a good adults, because they're only a child for a short amount of time. But it's really important to understand people's needs and how those needs going unmet can manifest into illness, body keeps score, can manifest into mental illness, and then unfortunately on the male side that manifests into what? Violence. I mean, the list goes on. So coming back to my therapy session, I bring all that up to say that I have not thought about my needs very much. And I think that was a byproduct of, again, a very unsatisfying, very toxic relationship, that my needs kind of fell by the wayside since I was just trying to survive every single day. So some of the things that we discussed today in therapy were, what can you do today to meet some needs? So basic stuff for me is I'm able to take a 5-minute meditation break. As I talked about in my last video, I've been doing that a lot when it comes to working. I'm like, let me just take a couple minutes, sit at my desk, look out the window, right? So for today, take a little quick nap before I pick my kids up, right? I don't think I'm gonna have time today. I gotta pick my son up in a little bit, but that is something that I'm going to make sure that when I have a quiet moment, which is rare, to take a 15-20 minute cat nap. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna look up and research ideas for videos, because while I'm trying to figure out the direction of this channel, I have a lot to say, and that's a need too. I wanna be able to connect and build a community and get some of these things that have been in my heart space and in my head space out. So that's the priority, and that's a need for me, is to connect and to be heard. I think that part of this decentering men with women too is feeling unheard, and allowing that time apart from male validation or whatever, and to really focus on what women need individually. It's kind of a good direction. I think there needs to be probably more discussion on how the evolution of the woman since the late 1800s, when suffragists were fighting for the right to vote, and then Black women obviously a lot later than that in the 60s, but there needs to be an evolution since women have evolved over the last 120, 130 years. In a lot of ways, men have kind of remained the same. And I'm not saying that all of them have. Obviously, we have a lot of men who are part of feminist movements and kind of understand the plight of women and minorities and that sort of thing. But there needs to be a broader discussion of, yes, we're going to decenter men because of, right? And our goal is what? But men also have to do the work. You know, men can't just keep getting on podcasts blasting women all day and talking about what, the alpha male needs to do in order to take control of their house. That's the problem. The taking control part is the problem. The relinquishing control part needs to be talked about a lot more. Being safe a safe man needs to be talked about a lot more. Meeting your own needs in a healthy way as a man, and allowing your partner, if you are heterosexual, to do the same thing. You know, all those things need to be talked about. This is kind of like a broader discussion that I didn't expect to talk about, but it's been on my heart to talk about this whole decentering conversation. I see a lot of it on Threads and TikTok, and just this conversation with my therapist today and talking about my needs, and really just analyzing how many years I was unable to fulfill my basic needs while in a heterosexual relationship, and how common that is. It just opened up a whole, you know, thought for me. So, yeah. So again, as I'm taking baby steps on meeting those needs, and building content, and also building a niche of some sort, I think where I'm going right now is kind of in the female growth, women growth sector, because that's kind of all I care about right now. Outside of, you know, making sure my kids are growing healthy, obviously, I want to make sure I'm also growing with them, right? Like, I'm growing human beings, and I'm a human being that's still growing. So yeah, meditation, journaling are some of the things I want to add to the list, and my needs. So this is a reminder to moms, to whoever, single people, men, find time to address your needs, write them down, figure out what you need that day. I'm going to be doing it daily, 3 bullets, 4 bullets. I'm not going to put pressure on myself because I'm healing right now. So the pressure is what has kept me in freeze. So I'm not putting pressure on myself right now. I am baby stepping into everything in 2025. So I hope this was helpful. Again, needs need to be met in order for you to be a good mommy, you know, auntie, daddy, whoever's watching, in a healthy way, right? So we're teaching, we're modeling for these kids out there. It's not, can't be telling kids what they need to do while we in turn are not doing it and showing them how to do it. So let's model the right way to get our needs met, so we're not exploding on our children and being a bad example, you know, how to adult. So hope this helps. Please like, subscribe. I really appreciate the time, and see you next time. Bye.